Good evening, Little Masters, and welcome to the common room of the Prancing Pony podcast, and of Rings of Power Wrap-Up, and of today's Tolkien Times. And also, well, actually, that's going to have to wait just a little bit. Now, earlier this week, there was a little accident with our time machine here at the Prancing Pony podcast, so it's possible that you've already seen a half-baked version of this announcement before. If so, just stick around. The folks with the mind-wiping devices will be coming by soon. So here's the announcement, or announcements, as the case may be. So I've had a little project that I've been wanting to launch for quite a while now. In fact, it was something that I'd originally intended to start way back at the same time that I began today's Tolkien Times in May of 2023. But then I thought maybe it would be best if I held off for a bit just to see how my workload goes. And then the rest of 23 happened, and I had to shelve it for quite a while. But I don't want to keep it there anymore. So early in February, I'm going to be starting a brand new Prancing Pony podcast production. Now, what exactly is that? I'm not going to tell you today. Come back next Tuesday, January 21st, to find out all the details of that launch. For now, though, I wanted to let you know about some of the other changes that are connected to that launch. And the big news today is that we're going to be bringing back the Prancing Pony Podcast YouTube channel. Now, when it starts, the only content that will be there at the time is today's Tolkien Times. Now, of course, that's more than 400 bite-sized videos on Middle-earth, so there will be plenty of content, somewhere in the neighborhood of 65 hours, for you to start with if you've not been following the TTT. Now, this move should be ready before the end of the month, but the best way to make sure you find out is to subscribe to @Tolkien Times on YouTube, since that's where the video updates are going to be posted. Once that channel is live again, over the following several weeks or months, my team is going to be moving all of the existing Prancing Pony podcast and Rings of Power Wrap-Up content, currently in podcast form, over to the YouTube channel so that you can listen to it there if you want. And co-hosts willing and technology available, I'm planning on recording the PPP itself on video starting next season as we dive into the rest of Unfinished Tales in the 10th season of the Prancing Pony podcast. Now, back when we started the Rings of Power Wrap-Up, it made a lot of sense at the time to create a separate online identity for that show. But then when I did the same thing for today's Tolkien Times, well, it really made me feel all thin, sort of stretched, if you know what I mean, like butter that has been scraped over too much bread, you might say, and I need a change. So with the consolidation of all four of the Prancing Pony podcast productions onto a single YouTube channel, I'm also going to be consolidating all the PPP brands into a single social media handle everywhere, @PrancingPonyPod. Now, that's already our handle on Twitter, X, Instagram, and TikTok, for at least as long as that's around, and it's the name of our subreddit. But now it's our handle on Blue Sky and even Twitch for possible future use, and it will be that way for YouTube soon enough. So if you're watching this video on one of my other handles, @RingsWrapUp or @Tolkien Times, be sure that you follow @PrancingPonyPod on your preferred platforms. Now, moving all the podcast content onto YouTube is going to mean a lot more work for my team, and then launching a new production always comes with costs. So if you are not yet a member of the Fellowship of the Podcast, please check out patreon.com/prancingponypod to find out what you can get for your support of the PPP, or patreon.com/Tolkien Times if you want the extras for that show. And that's it for now, folks. Have a look at the exciting new banner that Megan has made for me, showing all the PPP brands in one single common room, mostly. And be sure to come back next Tuesday, January 21st, to find out what I'll be doing next, when I'll be doing it, and where you can find me. I'm excited to tell you all about it real soon. In the meantime, as Faramir says, go with the goodwill of all good men.